Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm going to show you how to make a custom-made Tablesaw sled with quite a few nice features on it. A couple features I do have on this are the slides underneath are made from Incra. They're 25 and a half inches long, and they will adjust for zero play. Another area that I like is Kreg makes a system called the Precision Track and Stop Kit, and it's made for miter saws with a 2 3/4 inch tall, 3/4 inch thick fence, and I adapted my fence, which is a 2 inch thick by 4 inch tall maple, and I adapted it for my fence. It's a great setup, it's a great system, and I'll show you kind of how I made it here. First of all, the wood is made out of, this is some 1/2 inch MDF. Like I said, I got the 1.5 or 2 inch thick maple, just a scrap piece on the back there. And basically, to start off, what I'm going to have you do is take your Incra miter slides, which if you want to walk back over here, Dave, I'll show you this. What we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 Incra miter slides, and in our miter tracks, first of all, make sure your blade is 90 degrees to the miter fence, the miter slots, and you're going to put some dimes in the bottom, which is when you put these slots in, it's going to make these stand just proud. And then put a couple pieces of double-sided tape on the top of these, and then all I did is I brought my fence over. And I just took the piece of wood with the blade down, and I just set it up against the fence and just dropped it down perfectly flat and pressed it down in place. Then I lifted it back out, made all my holes, drilled all my holes, cleaned them up a little bit, and then from the top side there are 4 holes that hold it in place. All these other holes are for potential future applications for the small ones. They're all threaded all the way through. And then these here are to adjust for the play in the miter slides. Once that's set in place, before you raise the blade, go ahead and put the back fence on. It doesn't really matter if that's squared with blade because you're not going to be squaring off of that. The whole purpose of that is to hold these 2 halves together and hold it stable. Underneath those are secured with some screws coming up through the bottom. Next step is to, on the fence here, we have to make and mill the fence. Now you'll notice I've got the Kreg mitering system on top here with adjustable fence, and I've got a T-trac in here for adding any jigs in the future. Now one thing is because this is made for a narrower fence, if you look on the very end here, I did cut a groove down with another little notch and had to trim a little off of this side to get this to set down dead flush. Once it was sitting down in here, on this side over here, I drilled some holes and I tapped that and I bolted this into place to hold and secure this track in place. I just took a scrap of old maple, cut it, and drilled some holes and secured it on here as kind of a security block. Another nice feature is I added a bolt here. And if you look underneath the table, you will see that as it comes up, as I hit just past top of dead center on the blade, it's going to hit the bolt and it's going to stop. So if you come back up here, you can see where we're at. I'm never going to accidentally push this over the edge of the table or cause any problems. And back here you see the blade is just barely protruding, therefore saving your fingers. This jig here is made for a fence that is 2 3/4 inches tall. This is taller than that, so I adjusted the difference, leaving a little bit of room for sliding. Drilled some holes, drilled and tapped holes here, and I've got this trimmed completely flush on both sides. So when this does go in place, things slide neatly up against it. Now the real test is to take a piece of wood, fire it up, and then flip them, and you'll see how tight they come together, even flip. This is cut, and that's flipped. And there before you know you're dead square. And just to confirm, we're dead square. Take a long piece. I actually took a piece here that was 24 inches wide and cut that and flipped that. And over 24 inches there was no place. So the way I adjust this, so once you have your fence completely milled, even before you put on your block, or after, that really doesn't matter, but have everything put on, with the exception of, you gotta now make sure this fence here is exactly 90 degrees to the blade. There's a bunch of places on the internet, a bunch of websites that are going to give you all different kinds of mathematical calculations to figure out, and all kinds of things to do. Simplest thing is go to the hobby or craft store, buy 2 of these 99-cent plastic triangles. They are a true 90 degrees. Come up to your blade, put them against your blade and slide them down. You want to adjust with one screw back here holding the fence down. You're going to want this end of the fence on this end to be able to move. Holding this, move your fence forward and backward until you have absolutely zero play along the sides over here and absolutely zero play along the back. Once you have no play and it's all gone, you are dead on 90 degrees. Keeping that clamp down, slide it back. I drop a clamp on this end and pop a screw up in there. Take this off, make your cut, and verify your 90 degrees. If you're 90 degrees, go ahead and drill the rest of your holes up under here and secure this down really well. If you're not 90 degrees, which, unless you screw up with this, you should be 90 degrees, you can take that one screw out and adjust just when you go back in, screw it in a different place. And the true test is taking a piece of wood, which I've cut all my little pieces out, but I'll cut this little one. And the true test is when you flip them over. Come on in here and take a look at this. When you flip them over, you know, they're together. There's no extra gap. So that's the true test. I hope this video helps you make a easier and better crosscut sled, because I know that I'm really going to enjoy this, and it's going to really cut down time not having to mark on my boards and having a sled. Thanks for watching.